Okay.
I was.
we-
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, I was just gonna get started reminding you of what we did. and
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
First
I
time.
was telling Catherine that I was apologizing to her because, thank you, I had given all my good reads away yesterday. All my students had terrible reads, so I was like,
Oh.
here, you've got to have a read. So I was giving them, I gave them all of my good reads, so I don't know, so what's left here.
Oh, maybe I can loan you one.
Shirt off my back, right? Okay.
All right. So to remind you, we started with the Bonad exercises. The da da.
Yeah, good.
That we can. I usually do that for a warm up. Then we do the first two of these pretty thoroughly. So we go into this part, and then the second one, and you introduced number 3 to me.
Oh, okay.
first, okay.
Okay.
And then in addition to that, I started to work on
Okay.
this Osborne piece.
Okay.
And I brought this along just in case. This is from the orchestra. It's the
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Barber of Seville. I get to play first clarinet on the overture
Oh,
again.
wow.
So,
wow.
yeah.
Okay, how neat.
So it's good for me.
Yeah. So you have some C transposition.
The whole thing is transposition. Right?
Yeah. Is that an issue, or
No,
do you feel
it's
pretty good
actually
about it?
okay. I've done
Okay.
it in the past, and the issue is just
It's a-
switching.
But you just switch to A. Because you do that?
Well, here I think it's all just transposing from C, but what I was saying actually is more like going from this piece to the next piece. Then I
No.
don't transpose. I've got the
Oh,
B flat
oh.
part or
Yeah.
the A part, and then that's where I can switch and slip,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good. It's good. And anyway, so yeah, that's the arrangement we're working on.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have to get to it today because that's like in March.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay.
There's no big rush on that.
All right.
So that's the background
Okay.
story.
So would you like to do a little bit of Bonad finger things?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Finger things
See how
first.
that's going. We've been talking about the steady air, the steady armature, and fingers that are.
I'm going
Not-
to get one thing and I'll be right back.
Yeah.
So you can play a couple notes and I'll be right back. Good. I think your sound's improving. I like the sound better than just the last time or two.
Great.
Now, I'm going to show you one thing. I thought I had a better one of these in the house, and I can't find it.
Okay.
But you can get easily at any drugstore foam earplugs.
Oh yeah.
The ones that don't have these little jobs in, they sort of look like they're just foam, and they just look like
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I think these are helpful with the sense of what the finger has to do. You basically hold like that. Each finger has to do a C to O thing and push your earplug down and do about 3 or 4 of them. It gets you a great sense of the press into and the shape, and also what the palm of the hand has to do. And so that's one. Then you just take the other hand, and maybe 5. I'm doing 2, but do 5 for each one. And the only negative to this is you can only use one finger at a time, but it really does give you the sense of the pressure into and keeping the hand in the right spot at the same time. Try it for a second. And you know which ones I'm talking about. You know, that's just totally cone shaped. Not
Yeah.
cone shaped.
Yeah. Well, like this.
Except they don't have the round thing on the top. And they're a little bit fatter, and they're not quite this material. They're a little bit stronger sponge.
So
Do
they're
you know what I mean?
a little bit. They're a little bit more pointy.
No, they're less pointy. They're absolutely
A cylinder.
a cylinder. Absolutely cylindrical in shape.
Okay. Yeah.
And shape,
Yeah.
and they aren't quite so easy to push down. You need a little bit more. Yeah. So that's right. You're trying to keep that C all the way down, and then and you do it like 5. See how it helps the hand back here? Really
Yeah.
builds your hinge, and that hinge is really important.
Yeah.
Your knuckles.
Yeah.
Inside of your knuckles. You can take that home with you.
I got the. I have some of these.
You have a few.
I recently needed these.
Okay.
I hope this isn't like your only pair.
No, I mean, I'm sure. It's just that I thought I had a better pair in the house.
No, don't use
And
your
that's what
best.
I meant. No, you better. Okay.
Okay, that's
So,
a good. Oh,
and,
here's the other.
yeah, and you get that sense of.
Okay, so I'll I think that my fingers do need a lot of work, and that we've been concentrating a lot on this part.
Which part do you mean?
Both the external armature and then the tongue position.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably focusing mostly on that, and so the tone has been improving.
Yeah,
I think as a
it's
result.
definitely better today.
That's great.
The only thing I'm seeing in your hands, and the reason why I got into the whole thing about the earplugs, was that when you will come up with, especially your right hand,
Yeah.
and you might be able to see this on the video,
Yeah.
that you sometimes will
Overshoot.
straighten out, and then you have to pull back in.
Okay.
And your goal is, as you lift, to try to stay in the same position, so you're going straight down into
Oh,
cone
okay.
holes without
Okay.
having to take that extra little step involved.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Good. Good thing to keep in mind.
Now, just
Okay.
a little bit of dee-daw, dee-daw, dee-daw. This is 8th notes. Try this tempo for a moment. Just see how, if you speed up a little bit, you can
Yeah.
keep it fluid.
I can do that just from here.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
That's very nice. Try one little thing. Try just one little thing. Very good. When you release the sound, sounds like hearing a
Yes.
ooh, I think maybe, this is a theory,
Yeah,
slightly, but
yeah.
not quite theory, I think I know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You're pulling a little farther. You're pulling a little farther than I'd like you to. In other words, I'd like you to feel like you go, do,
Okay.
stays very close,
I see.
stays very close, and then comes back. But
Uh-huh.
I hear the sound, and also try to keep it that way all the way through the
Okay.
extension of the C, because I hear it going,
Yes.
coming a little far, and then as you sustain the note, it pulls down farther.
Mm-hmm.
Go a
Yep.
little farther
I
away.
think you're probably right there. Oh well, I probably pulled away already too far.
But I heard it as being more of the same color.
Steady.
I didn't hear the color change
Mhm.
quite as much. And just soften them up. That's it. Yeah, it's better. It's definitely better. Every time you can just get your fingers softer and easier.
Yes.
Just even, for example, at the end. I don't usually use that D sharp there because it's a little sharp, but anyway. You're trying to be as minimal as you can, and what I'm hearing is you're still snapping a little bit too much, but but actually it's much better than it was. So that's that's the direction. Just and you can go to the point where I think where at this point you can be as soft as you possibly can. If you miss a note because you're not using quite enough, then you give yourself a plus point.
It's better that way.
Yeah, yeah. And then you'll always realize, oh, I have to use that tiny bit more. But what happens if we don't go sometimes into the realm of not quite enough pressure, then we don't know where the cutoff spot is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we're always trying to be careful, and by being careful, we overhit. But that's really much better, and I think it's a great exercise for you. So, and the sort of a great sequence, 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Do the Badad first, then do some of this, and,
Yeah.
and it really does get your hand in a great
Yes, it's
spot.
I'm finding it really nice to start out that way.
Yeah, great. Okay, next. What else?
Next guy.
Yeah. Okay, great. So now, many of the Rose 40 have themes. It is obvious what the theme of the first one is. It's all about legato, finger motion, air, blah, blah. Very good. We talked a little bit about the theme of number 2,
Yes.
which is, what would you say?
What would I say?
Mhm.
From reviewing the videos from last week, we played a G, a hard straight G, and then
Oh, right.
and then one time you did the fingering, and the other time I transferred that and tried to just keep that steady air, steady embouchure and pretty fluid fingering, so that really this wasn't about the fingering, even though we could go fairly quickly. It was just about one steady airstream throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was similar to what you were thinking.
Yeah, definitely. Except in the goal of getting a steady airstream, we're talking about steady air speed, really.
Air speed.
Well, stream, and yeah, the speed of the stream, whatever.
Okay, and yes, narrowed and such.
And if we're trying to go for that, what inside the mouth do we have to do to make that happen?
We need to have like the Starbucks straw shape right toward
and
the.
how do we get that?
You have a tongue that's approaching the reed part, and some vowel that's sort of keeping it focused and making sure that the shape of the air is focused into the center of the reed.
So, like, what internal vowel do you go for?
I'm still not there yet.
E. Yeah. E. E kind of does it. A hiss kind of does it. And the reason for that, of course, is the speed of the air. The higher the tongue is in the middle, not the back of the tongue, but the middle of the tongue is in the mouth. that generally speaking, the faster the airstream is.
Okay.
Because the roof of your mouth is an
Yeah.
immovable object.
Right.
So if the middle of the tongue is high in the mouth, you're speeding up there. And also,
Yes.
of course, that's one of the reasons why tip of the tongue close to the reed.
Yeah. Also, yeah, narrows the air
Yeah,
street.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you can think of the narrow straw, which I very much like,
Yeah.
but also the sense of the tongue forward, poised, as Marcellus used to say, sort of a nice arched poise,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. Now remember one little thing, which I think I went over, but I just want to make sure that
Sure.
you understand, and that is, we're not talking about a high position for the back of the tongue.
Uh-huh.
It's the middle of the tongue is just right here where your molars are. You've got another
Yeah.
3 or 4 inches of tongue back here. It's actually
Yeah.
a big thing, bigger
Yeah,
than
yeah.
you think sometimes.
Yeah. Right.
And if you raise the back of the tongue, you get,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a valve there. There's a valve back here, and that'll throw your air into your nasal cavities, and
Right.
that's not what you want. And yet,
Right.
you sometimes hear people play that way. It's because of a little misunderstanding, I think. Is that it's not the back of the tongue that's
No.
up; it's the middle of the tongue that's up.
Okay. Right. Okay.
And if you ever find yourself getting any of that, you know exactly what to do with it.
Yeah. Well, you say all more than.
Well, I think visually it's really great. I mean, you just say, okay, I'm getting,
Yeah.
I'm just moving it forward and getting that highness a little bit more,
Okay.
more
I see
forward
what
in the
you're saying.
mouth. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's an easy fix, really.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
take it away.
That said.
Okay, let's do a couple little things. One thing is that I kind of like to do these with the Rose studies because I do feel that there is I mean, not only is there a theme involved, but there's a lot of little inside bits of information that I'm sure,
Yeah.
99% sure they went over with when you were a student at the Paris Conservatory studying with Rose.
Yeah.
One of those is when you have a G major arpeggio, you always use the right-handed beat. And you do it here. Now here you don't. It's left to right, of course, because it's diatonic in G major or C major,
Got
if
it.
you like. But here you would again.
Okay.
The idea behind it is that, of course, let's say from G to B, you
Yeah.
have to add the right hand. As
Yes.
long as you're adding the right hand, you just use the little finger of the right hand,
Yeah.
and you don't complicate it. And if you do the left with the C,
Yeah.
which you were doing a couple times,
Yeah.
you raise the possibility of a Porky Pig because you got two things to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just do the right hand and one finger, it can't happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. So this piece has a lot of that.
Okay.
Here we are.
Again. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
they're all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
so
good. I'm glad you caught that.
That's one of the things that I think this etude is about. But I also feel that your air is better. One of the aspects of fast, steady air is smallness of aperture. So if you can get a sense that, although we don't make the smallness by closing the jaw, but we do make it by closing the lips. You can get that sense of smallness of aperture. Try once in which you're just doing. We did it a few times like that last time, right? Did we? Yeah.
Yep.
And you're focusing on the front of your mouth being as tiny as that straw that we were. That one. That's the red one. Yeah. Right here, we're thinking of right that the front of your lips is like right here, you know, that, and the air is sort of right in the center, shooting through the center of the reed. But you don't have to actually use the pressure. It's just the visuality of. Now, let's just close that down and keep exactly the same concept of smallness of aperture. Okay? See what I mean? So basically you've got that same color all the way through. And you've got a sense of firmness that comes in the sound because you're using the same pressure and on all the intervals.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Try
Yes.
a little of that. Okay, this was really good. You did a little thing here where the air seemed to slow down for some reason, but this was all really good. Now,
Okay.
I want you to play it one more time, and I'm going to do one thing that's sort of annoying, but it won't hurt you, I
I know what
promise.
you're gonna do.
Shoot it through. It is annoying, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. One more time.
No, that's fine.
Keep it going. Airspeed. That is so much better. Can you hear the difference? I mean, it's so much better. It's not only that it's more even, but it actually is making a difference in your sound. It's really giving you a better quality of sound. And when you get that sense that you're doing that all the time, no
Okay.
matter what you play, then it does really give you
Yeah.
a good sound that you can count on.
Everything's working better together.
Yeah, and the sound is being produced efficiently. And
Gotcha.
the intervals have nothing to do with it. The notes have really nothing to
Right.
do with it.
Right.
It's you know, I think I mentioned it last time. They used to say about Bonnard that he gave you all these little details, and you put all the details together, and everything worked like clockwork. You know, it's like a great timepiece. And to some degree, I mean, I think that really makes sense because if your embouchure is doing its job, and it's oblivious to anything else that's going on, like we demonstrated last week when you were just blowing and I was just moving my
Yes.
fingers.
Yeah.
It's oblivious to everything else. Then you get a sound that is well matched through the range. Duh. You know,
That's what you want.
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, as long as you know what the ingredients are.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then the fingers have to do their job. They do what they need to do. But a lot of that, I mean, no matter what the interval is, as we're working on, did we do the embouchure book? I don't know. Did we talk about that? The embouchure book, we're working on this sort of thing of intervals. And you start with diatonic things and you just go doo doo doo. It's very easy, you know, because you're just doing a diatonic interval, and you can do it so that the lips don't change or shift at all. And then you get your intervals a little bit larger. And then you realize at one point in all this little these easy little exercises that the student does. And there's no change. It's not made here. It has nothing to do with this. It has to do with that. Which any idiot, you know, fourth grade clarinetist can do. And so it's a big interval, but it's a piece of cake. And by the same token, if you just you see what I'm saying? It's because the different aspects of your playing, your physical attributes of what you have to do, they all know their little jobs, and they're only doing their job. They're not trying to do somebody else's job. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So that's one of the things that we're really learning here, that the intervals are going all over the place, but this front is just doing that. And that airspeed is as close to the same as you can make it, no matter whether you're up here or down there. Now, of course, in the middle section, I stopped you there, but in the middle section when you're going to B flat major, he has you doing a lot of one-on-one fingerings, which I think is good. That's fine. And then you're then using the right hand E flat for here.
Yeah.
And so that's a little bit of a fingering exploration,
Mm-hmm.
we say.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going back to this ABA section, right? And then you're going back to the A. When you do that, you know,
gotta
make
go
sure that
to the right. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm. No,
you do all
that's-
these things.
yeah.
So play just a little bit with me, and let's just see how well we can match our sound.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be super fast or anything like that.
No.
But just we're going to see if we can get the same color. But I'm very happy with your sound today. It's so much improved.
Oh, great.
Much improved.
Great.
So frequently the primacy of your, you know, what's first, what's most important, and what's less important is just the airstream being narrow and fast all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And dynamics, I think, are in the imagination.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
In other words, I don't feel I really am changing my support that much between a pianissimo and a fortissimo. Maybe I'm making a little bit more motion because I'm having to use more air, I guess. But I don't feel like I'm changing any of the musculature of support from one dynamic to another. I just say I want to hear it. I want to be loud now, or I want to be soft now. But the primacy here is, yeah, there's a couple little finger things you want to get nice and smooth.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all about steady airstream and steady tongue position so that that speed of air can always be relied upon.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a great etude. You see how,
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen how it's helped you
It's
already.
helped. It's helped.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so now we did a little bit of this one.
Yeah, we haven't
and-
studied it too much.
And I was saying, was I having you start here?
Yeah, you
Okay.
just picked out this little section here,
Yeah.
and I honestly didn't do too much more than that.
Well, one little thing about it, I haven't practiced it. My students have all my good reads, but they're having you do this. There it is again. And it's a study, of course, in no change. In no change.
no change.
No
As opposed
change.
to no change.
No change. Yeah.
No
No
No other change.
No change.
Yeah.
No pressure change. No change.
Yeah.
And you're just moving your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a tendency to want to yodel up there. Wee, wee, wee. Nah, forget about it.
Yeah.
Keep it in one efficient spot and just
Mhm.
move your fingers and
Mhm.
blow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And once that happens, then it's relatively much easier. This is not the easiest thing in the entire world, but you know how to approach it. You know exactly how to make it work.
Yeah.
One other little thing, they have things like this. For example, when this starts, this is also totally steady airstream. And the only thing that makes the difference between the legato slurs and the articulated notes is the use of the tongue coming back to the reed. But the tongue comes back to the reed, but the air stays steady, doing its job. It's like, you know, it's like a computer that has no brain. It just goes, it just does it, you know, and it doesn't care what's going on, and it doesn't know what's going on, and that's what the air has to do. One little thing is that when we first get into this concept, I think most people need to do a compensation. And that is when you play something like this and go to there,
Mm-hmm.
there's a tendency to stop and adjust and fix. And when you stop and adjust and fix, you stop the air. So we always say that at the end of a slur or a group of notes that are legato,